This new album is insane.
You know what? We're excited too, man. And you can talk the talk, but you don't walk the walk till release day, and that's
Yeah.
April 20th. And everyone will be able to determine whether we're right or not. You and I, because you love it, I love it. We're pumped about it.
I listened to it again this morning on my way to work, and I mean, everybody. I mean, and you've said it in interviews because you ranked all of the Stryper albums, and you even said, every artist says that the new album is their best album.
Right.
Everybody says that, but
Yep.
honestly, this album is right. I can see why you rank this one number one. I mean, I feel like there's every song on this album would fit on a previous Stryper album. I feel like,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
stuff that fits in with Yellow and Black Attack, To Hell with the Devil. There's stuff that fits in with In God We Trust. I mean, it's
I know.
it's amazing how just like comprehensive this material is, and how reflective of Stryper's career this album is, but it's also current too, and stands right up there with not just the last few albums, but just all of the current metal albums in general.
Well, man, I'm thrilled to hear you say that, and we agree, and we're feeling the same thing, the same emotions, and I don't know how it worked out that way because it's almost impossible to plan that out.
Mm-hmm.
It was relatively rushed. I mean, the writing process certainly was. Everything was written in about 9 days.
Wow.
It was written really fast. And then the guys came out here and we did pre-production for like 10 or 11 days. So then we tweaked the songs a little bit and rehearsed them and, all that stuff. But everything was written before they came out. And, in most situations, that doesn't work.
Right.
For some weird reason with us, it completely, totally works. And it almost makes for a better album. And the last 3 albums have been done that way, very quick. My solo albums have been done that way.
Yep.
And it's just, there's something about working under pressure that works well for me. And I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way.
What is it about working under pressure and that sense of urgency? Because, I mean, at this point in your guys' career, I mean, you've built up, you guys have kind of earned the right to take your time making a record. To take, maybe, if you want to take 4 or 5 years, the fans will understand because they know something good is coming. But but what is it about that sense of urgency that makes you feel like you need that sense of urgency, and what is it that makes it work so well for you?
Well, it's a number of things. It's the feeling of, and I'm just speaking for myself, of, the door is wide open right now. At some point that door is going to start closing. And at some point, it's going to be completely closed. I mean, we don't know what tomorrow brings. I could be gone tomorrow and not here on Earth. And if that day comes, heaven forbid, hopefully not sooner but later, I want to be able to look back. I want my family to be able to look back, the fans to be able to look back and say, wow, look at all this music and all these messages and all the stuff that he accomplished and the legacy that he left behind, and not like, oh my gosh, would have, could have, should have.
Right.
I love taking the opportunities, and if that means an album every year or 2 albums a year, as long as I don't feel I'm compromising, I'm okay with it.
Right.
That's why you don't see me like some other people who literally put out 3 and 4 albums a year, and 3 of them are crap.
Yeah.
You see that that's a lot. Compromising.
You see that a lot with double albums. The bands release a double album, both parts in 1 year, and one part is, the best album they've done in a while, and the next album is like, why?
What's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah.
To me, that's silly. Okay. And at least you can say about Stryper, yes, we release a lot of stuff. Michael Sweet releases a lot of stuff, but hopefully everyone's going to agree, like, well, this isn't my cup of tea, or I may not like this, but man, it's good.
Yeah. Exactly.
We're not releasing crap, and we're not just throwing stuff out there just to say we did. So I think we keep getting better and better in some weird way, a miraculous way.
Hmm.
we keep getting better. And this album, I really feel, is our best. I really do.
Yeah, it's oh man, it's definitely up there. And I mean, one thing that you can definitely say about Stryper, just definitely Stryper is, you guys are 30 some years into your career, but you're still keeping it fresh. You're still finding ways to do something new and to keep people talking. I mean, I feel like, obviously there's a lot of people talking about the album title, but once they hear the title track, everything will make sense with the album
Yes.
title. People will get it. I kind of figured that maybe that's where you guys were going when I saw the album title, but when I heard the title track, I'm like, that makes sense. And to me, I feel like that's genius. I mean, and that's honestly, it's also kind of, as Christians, that's kind of what it's all about is
Exactly. It is, and it
damn
should
the
be.
evil, Yeah.
Yep. And you want people talking, you want to
Hmm.
debate, you want to discuss things, and that's a good thing. If they're not talking, it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Stryper's always been a band that tries to get people to talk. We don't just do something just for controversial sake or shock value. There's always a meaning behind it and an explanation.
Yeah.
And it's important for us to have people talking. But, goddamn evil. Once people hear the song, I personally think that's probably going to be the most downloaded song come release day.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm guessing. I could be wrong, but I think it will be.
I think it's pretty
by
safe
a mile.
to say.
Yeah, it's the title track. Everyone wants to hear that song and know what that
Mhm.
song is. And that song is a modern day To Hell with the Devil, basically.
Yes, I never thought of that, but yes.
It's an anthem. It's a mid-tempo, powerful
Mhm.
anthem. We will be performing it live, absolutely. We've had people say, if you perform that song live, man, I won't be coming to any shows. It's like, well, then we'll catch you on the flip side.
Yeah, but they will come to the shows. They're just saying that because they're upset, and I mean, some people just like to complain, but
I know. I hope you're right. Because if they come to the show, they'll at least be able to hear us explain it and hear us play it. And I think most people will say, okay, I get it now.
Yeah. Exactly, and then 10 years from now, they won't even either they won't remember that they were complaining about it, or they won't want to acknowledge that they were complaining about it, because then they'll be like, yeah, that makes sense. Yep, but I mean, honestly, I mean, I grew up in the church, and I mean, a lot of Christians just when something kind of is not goes against the grain.
Right.
Instead of, taking time to sit down and dissect it and be like, well, where are they coming from? How can we use this to reach other people? They just want to sit and just be like, you can't do that. That's wrong. But that's also it's nothing new for you guys. You've been dealing with that
It's nothing new for us. It's been happening since '83.
Yeah.
People picketing our shows, people speaking out against us, and it's to be expected because we have an interesting fan base.
Yeah,
it's very interesting. It's made up of 2 or 3 different groups of people, and we've come to the realization, although we try to explain things to people and set the record straight, we've come to the realization that we're never going to please everybody. And you take that saying and that theory, and you multiply it times 1,000 with Stryper.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how it goes. It's the way. I mean, we got flack for the way we looked.
Yeah.
How can they call themselves Christians? They look like women. We still get flack for that. Some people say, "Man, you have long hair." You know what the Bible says about long hair? It's like, wow, dude, that's an Old Testament law that isn't even in force anymore. Are you kidding me?
The Bible also says to take the plank out of your own eye and let. So.
But let's not talk about those scriptures when we're honing in on one scripture, okay?
Exactly. Yep, exactly. And I really feel, honestly, I think it's safe to say that maybe since this is the most talked about Stryper album prior to release since maybe Reborn, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
But I mean, Reborn was obviously you guys were coming back and everyone was talking, and this is the most people have been talking about a Stryper album in decades. It seems like, you know.
You're right, and that's good. And
Yeah,
obviously, we want people to talk. And
yeah,
we had this album title a few years back, and we didn't go with it because we felt like it was too much.
sure.
And we didn't want to alienate our fan base, and we didn't want to just upset people, and we felt like at the time it wasn't right. Now 2018, we feel like the time is right because of the world we live in. There's so many new levels of evil that we're all watching on the news.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, there couldn't be a better time to pray against evil than now and ask God to damn evil.
Exactly.
It's just not a better time.
Yeah, and that was one of my notes. Is the album title is perfect for where. I mean, I have a 6-year-old daughter, and I honestly I kind of envy her because she's so innocent and she doesn't understand how terrible the world is, and it makes me, it makes me sad to know that you have to explain that to her. But
I know.
I mean, this album. I mean, I'm glad you waited until now because with everything, like you said, I mean. This is what I mean. This is what it's come to, and this is perfect.
It really is, and we're excited about the message that it has. We're excited about the music that it has.
Yeah,
and we got a new lineup. We feel like a new band again.
Yeah, it's a new era.
And I tell you, whether it's true or not, or fact or not, it feels to us like we're starting over again, and that same level of excitement, like, wow, let's do this, and we're so pumped, man.
Yeah, and speaking of the new lineup, I mean, Perry, I mean, it's so good to see how welcoming the fan base is with Perry.
It really is, and there's been some fans, a very small, tiny little group of fans that haven't welcomed him and don't want any part of it. And it can, for that piece, for those people, we have got new fans times 100.
Yes.
So, in other words, what I'm trying to say is they've been replaced with new fans and many more.
And I feel like those are a lot of the same fans that were maybe saying the same thing when Tracy came into the band.
Oh yeah. Well, they're the same fans that they're the same fans that are very. They're kind of blowing in the wind. Like they're very nice one day and then just cruel and mean and not understanding the next day, and they attack and go on these rampages, and we're just kind of sitting there going. And you're a fan?
It's like it's not the band without the original lineup. Well, how many bands have every single original member in the band now? But
yeah, well, and the really hilarious thing that is said that we've seen many times is I can't believe you handled the situation like you handled it, and it's like, man, we handled it the best we possibly could, and we had to change the wallpaper, man. I mean, the wallpaper was moldy and toxic.
Yeah, and
we had to change it, and it wasn't by choice. It was just something that had to take place, and we changed it. And you know what? Look, we're moving on, and we're fulfilling what plans we have and what plans God has for us, and it's no one's going to stop that from happening. Nobody.
Right. And as long as you've prayed about it and you know that that's what God is leading you to do, that's all that matters. Fans may not understand it, people may not understand it, but even in biblical times when people were doing what the Lord led them to do, it didn't always make sense to everybody else, and not everybody. It wasn't always the most popular decision, but
Exactly, and it's hard, and I understand this, but it's hard to accept change.
Yeah, it is,
and that's with anything in life. Okay, that's just, you name it, anything. It's hard to change your recliner.
Yeah,
but the fact of the matter is that we had no choice. We had to move on and move forward. And Perry is now an official member of the band. He is an absolute amazing human being.
Yeah.
Like when people meet him, anyone that has any question marks or they're any concerns or what have you, when they meet him, they'll all be laid to rest because he is the nicest guy you'll ever meet.
Yeah, and he went, and especially on social media and like the fan page groups. I mean, he posted in there, "Hey guys, I'm happy to be here." He reached out to the fans.
Oh yeah,
and it's good to see such a humble, nice guy fill that role and come in. And I mean, you guys have
he's
known.
the real deal, dude. He's the real deal. I'm telling you, he's the real deal. And people, as time goes by, will see that more and more and more. And he's a great player who fits the role in that sense perfectly. And he's an amazing singer. And when they see him live performing with Stryper, they're going to say, "Wow, these guys sound amazing. They've never sounded better." And I mean, honestly, he's just the perfect guy for this band.
And I mean, anybody who listened to Firehouse when at all knows Perry's work, and anybody who saw Firehouse knows that Perry can bring it live. And I'm excited to see him live. I mean, I don't care where I have to go to see it because I mean, I'm in Indianapolis.
Well,
so far,
hopefully
no
not
dates,
far. Hopefully not far.
One of my friends has seen you guys in Baltimore in May, and I'm really jealous of them, but they'll be there. So,
hey man, you know what, dude? We're coming. Yeah, we're definitely coming, and we're excited because we got a lot of shows on the books.
Yeah,
and we're adding many more. I think we're going to have pretty realistically between 70 and 80 dates this year when all is said and done.
That's awesome.
And it's going to be a good year for us. We got the new album. We've got an acoustic album that we're wrapping up that we're going to release. We've just got to get Perry on it, and that's going to be fun to do. And then we're working on a documentary,
awesome.
Which is going to be really cool for the next couple years. And then I've got another album I'm going to start work on with Joel Hoekstra. Stryper will probably start work on another album at the end of next year, so it comes out in 2020. Yeah, we're thinking like every couple years a Stryper album is a good plan to stick to.
Got to stay in front of people. Got to momentum is everything now, and I mean,
absolutely,
yeah, and it's just getting started. I mean, I cannot wait for this album to come out because, I mean,
honestly, man, it really is just getting started, and that would mean, in terms of time frame, we're talking about, let's just say we went another 20 years. Okay, I'm going to be 55. That would put me at almost 75 in 20 years from today.
It's being done.
So it's totally doable, right?
Yeah.
If I stay healthy and the guys stay healthy, that would mean an album every 2 years. You're talking about 10 more Stryper albums.
Yeah.
So you're talking about almost matching what we've done to date.
Yeah, there's no reason you guys can't do it.
No, there really isn't, and I believe if any band can do it, it's us. And we'll just keep doing music and doing what we're here to do on Earth. And man, we're gonna smile and love every minute of it.
That's awesome. Yeah, man. The album comes out April 20th. I know my dad is clamoring to hear this. Right, he's jealous that I've heard it probably 10 times now, and I just keep telling him, just wait, it's coming. You're gonna love it. Every Stryper album in one. I'm sorry you can't hear it yet, but trust me, I have, and that's the important thing. I've heard it. You'll hear it eventually, and it's good. I think he's pre-ordered 2 or 3 different versions, the yellow vinyl and the.
Awesome, man.
Oh yeah, he's supported you guys since 83, 84, 85. I mean,
that's so.
Oh
cool.
Yeah. So, how do you think I know all the Stryper albums? Come on.
Well, it's always beautiful. It's beautiful to see that. The kids of fans from 35 years ago who are now fans. And then those kids are having kids. Like you have a daughter.
Yep.
Maybe your daughter will be a Stryper fan in 6
I'm working
years.
On it. I'm working on it. She's a rocker. So we took her to see Skillet for her birthday, and she fell asleep before they went on, but we stayed, and she heard it. So
cool. I love it. That's just awesome, man.
Yeah. Man, this has been great. It's always good talking to you. I'm so glad we got to catch up again. And man, the album, like I said, is definitely right up there with The Hell with the Devil and all those albums. And I mean, it stands on its own. And it's
Thank you,
hard
brother.
it's hard to rank them for me, but it's
I know.
you know
I know. And, all my reasons that I gave on the Mitch LaFon show for my ranking in order, there are legitimate reasons. It's not just like, because I don't like that album. It's because, well, here's why Against the Law is at the bottom of the list, because we changed everything.
Exactly. Yeah.
And we became a different band. And, I give reasons.
Yeah. But there's
so
different lists.
Is it a great album? Yes,
reasons.
it's a great album, but it's just at the bottom of my list. So
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you go just for musical quality, it's higher than Last. But for but I mean,
absolutely, no question.
Yeah. But I mean, man, thanks for talking again, and man, hopefully we'll be seeing you in Indianapolis. If not, we'll be seeing you in the closest city to Indianapolis. So
yeah, brother, you come out and see us if you can, and we'll hook you up and roll out the red carpet. And God bless you and your family. Thank you for your time, and I can't wait to see this, man, once it's out.